afternoon, and thank you for joining the Washtenaw County Road Commission's virtual construction information meeting about the Roundabout project planned at the intersection of Whittaker Road and Willis Road in Augusta Township. My name is Emma Sharp, and I'm the Washtenaw County Road Commission's Communications Associate. I'll be the meeting host today, along with our project manager. Today, I'm going to go over some housekeeping items before turning it over to staff for presentation about the project, and then we will open the meeting up for your questions. Presenting with me today is Senior Project Manager Nate Murphy of Design and Construction. The meeting audio and video is being recorded, and it will be posted to the project webpage on WC Roads in the next day or two. After the presentation, you'll be asked to virtually raise your hand during the Q&A period. I will provide instruction at that time on how to do this from either your computer, the Zoom app, or your touch-tone phone. The chat feature for this meeting is turned on. If you have any questions during the presentation, you can feel free to ask it in the chat and we will address it during the Q&A. You can find the chat window at the bottom of your screen. To turn on automatic captions, click the three dots located at the bottom of your screen. And the floor is yours, Nate.
Thank you, Emma. And again, welcome. My name is Nate Murphy. I'm the project manager for this Roundabout project, and I'm welcoming you to our info meeting as we get started on construction. We're starting with the view, the aerial view here. This is Whittaker and Willis. The existing is a four-way stop right there in the northwest quadrant is the school system there. And so there's a good amount of traffic that comes through this area. Next slide shows the some of the traffic. Wait, go back one. Yep. Yeah, with the down at the street view there, Emma shows the backups there that can occur, especially with the Lincoln Consolidated School so close. This is the type of backup that we're going to try to alleviate, and we're putting in a roundabout to help with that. I want to go to the next slide and talk right up at the beginning here. Because of the work that's going on, there was some confusion about the pump station. We will not be moving anything associated with the pump station. We've been able to design around that. So wanted to let everyone know that there will be no change to that pump station for the Augusta Township facility right there in the northwest quadrant. So we just want to let you know that first off. Next slide, please. The plan will be to build a single lane roundabout. We have ongoing utility relocations that are progressing. These will continue until we actually close down the intersection. They are slated to begin at the beginning of our project, a gas relocation that will start after we have closed down the intersection. This will help with the traffic management during that work. We got to cut into the pavement, so they are going to be the first part of our work. Following that gas relocation for a DTE gas, we will be moving toward installing the drainage, the storm sewer. We'll be constructing concrete curbs and islands, and we're going to go through some of these with pictures later. We're going to place the pavement. We'll be installing permanent signs, permanent pavement markings, and intersection lighting. After that, we'll do the restoration for the grass, etc., on the outside where disturbance has happened. Next slide. I wanted to throw this one in. I think it's a good reminder of why we do roundabouts. We've done a lot of them in Washtenaw County, and this one will just also improve the flow of traffic, but it also is for safety. A large part of this is because of the safety. We have a 90% reduction in serious injury and fatality crashes, and a 39% reduction of total crashes when we put in roundabouts. This is largely due to the lower speeds and the way that the traffic moves through it. On the next slide, it shows here pretty nicely the differences between standard intersection and a modern roundabout. You can see on the left side, a standard intersection. There's diverging, merging, and crossing conflict points for the traffic, whereas on a modern roundabout, we have limited this to from 32 vehicle conflicts on the left to 8, and none of them are crossing. So there's a great increase in safety when we move to a roundabout. I think that infographic is very powerful to see, and it's a good reminder to everyone as we build these roundabouts. Next slide, please. Yes, we talked about this. This is the existing pump station here with the proposed view of the roundabout that we have planned. You can see that the pump station will not be impacted, but this is a view of what it'll look like. It's a over aerial view. You can see that we have a center island and splitter islands. These help control the speed of the traffic as it approaches the center of the circle. Next slide. So our project is being let through, or it's facilitated through the MDOT federal aid project that is currently out for bid right now. We expect that the contractors will have their bids in, and we'll find out who that selected contractor will be in March. The project itself, we have scheduled to start on June 3rd. And as I had mentioned earlier, the first 2 weeks will be a relocation of the DTE gas facilities. And then our contractor would come on to the site after that. That would be the 14th. I'm sorry, the 17th. And we have a mid-August completion date. Next slide, please. Keep in mind that this construction schedule is dependent on weather. That can sometimes impact what is happening, obviously. We have unexpected utility conflicts that might come up as well that could impact that schedule, and also the contractor scheduling. So we keep this schedule as tightly as we can, but just understand there are issues sometimes, and that could end up delaying it. We do feel that we have sufficient time built into the timeline for them to get the work completed, and hopefully will not be impacting the school year and coming in the fall. Next slide. For the funding, the project funding and costs, we are using federal money that is facilitated through the MDOT process, and as well as the Michigan transportation funds that will be split between these. The overall project cost will be $1.3 million. Did my video stop? Okay. To walk through the steps of the project, we have here, the first one would be removing the existing pavement. After the, obviously after we've closed the intersection, they'll remove all the existing pavement, and then we'll go to putting in a new road bed. So this will be an aggregate base, a limestone aggregate base that we have been using, and creates a good base for the pavement, followed by installation of the concrete curb. You can see here the forms are in place in preparation for that curb pour. And then once that's poured, you can see it here. This is one of the splitter islands. The curb would go in first, and then they fill in the center of that with the colored concrete. The colored concrete will be red, and it'll be stamped as well. This adds to as the driver approaches the roundabout, it provides a visual to help guide them through the intersection. Next slide. In the center, we'll be also doing the concrete curb as well as a concrete infill in the center. It'll be a solid concrete pad, similar to what we did at Bemis and Whittaker last year. So it'll be very similar to that. It'll have the red stamped concrete. And once that's done, we do the HMA paving, the asphalt paving. And next slide. Followed by the pavement markings. Here you can see they're putting in the special pavement markings to help guide the motorists. And next slide gives an aerial, gives the pictures, or you can see all of the arrows that we put in. Hopefully you're familiar with these as you've traveled through these roundabouts throughout the county. Next slide, please. Just a reminder, we ask that you honor our closure. We will be putting in this full closure for this project, and this will require that all traffic not go through the intersection, both for your own safety and for the safety of the workers. And to this, full closure will help move the project through quicker. We just ask that you honor that when we say closed, the road is closed, and do not enter the work zone. Next slide. Here's a picture of our detour. We have Whittaker to Willow, Rawsonville, Martz, Textile, and Stony Creek to bring you around. We know that most people will find their own way, but we do not sign a detour on primary roads off onto local roads. We try to keep, if it's on a paved road, as much as possible, we keep them on a paved detour. So this will be our signed detour. Next slide, please. Just a reminder, we do have other projects that are going on this year in the area. We will have, as noted in this map here, you can see the Whittaker and Willis there with the blue dot. We will later in the year be doing work on Bemis Road between Stony Creek and Hitchingham. Also up north of that on Stony Creek, we'll be doing a bridge that's kind of in that little triangle up there. You can see the green dot, as well as some other HMA paving. So just wanted to give you a picture of, there is a fair amount of work going on in the area during this construction season, but just wanted you to see that and be aware of it. Next slide. There's my contact information. If you have any questions during the process of the project, please reach out to me, send me an email or give me a call, and I'll do my best to help you with whatever you have need of.
Thank you, Nate. I will go ahead now and show everyone how to find the project webpage. Okay, so first step is to open an internet browser, and you click on the top bar to enter in our web address, which is wcroads.org. That'll take you to our home page. Once you go there, you want to look at the top menu bar. There's going to be a drop-down menu that pops up when you click on roadwork and construction. You want to click on current projects. Here you'll see an interactive map that kind of shows all the projects that we have taking place throughout the entire county. If you scroll down further, you'll be able to see tile cards for each of our individual projects. Whittaker and Willis is going to be all the way at the bottom here. If you click on that, you'll be able to see a general map of the project location, a little bit of information about the project, including funding, traffic impacts, township. You'll be able to see any project updates in this latest updates portion, including like road advisories. Nate's contact information is over here to the right, and then there'll be helpful links as well. So the video that's being taken today from this meeting will be posted in the helpful links. The detour map's going to be there as well. And then I would also encourage anyone to click on this orange button and subscribe to our project updates. You can take your email and subscribe to whatever township or project update that you'd be interested in. Okay. So now we're going to go into the Q&A. If you're viewing the meeting on your computer, first make sure to click on Join Audio. You can raise your hand by clicking the Participants or the Reactions button at the bottom of your screen, and then the Raise Hand button at the bottom right of your screen. If you dial into the meeting with your touch tone phone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. As the meeting host, I will unmute participants with raised hands one at a time. I will announce your username or your last 4 digits of your phone number when it's your turn to speak. We're happy to answer as many questions as possible. Just please be respectful of each other's time. If your question is answered before you are called on, you can lower your hand by hitting the lower hand button or by dialing *9. Okay. So I do see that we have one hand raised. Robert, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself so you can ask your question.
Thank you. Yeah, there was some information going around quite a while ago. The pump station was going to have to be moved, and that it would be, at the township's cost, which of course caused those of us on the sewer system a lot of angst. So I'm glad to hear it's not going to be moved. However, I'm guessing it's going to be pretty close to the roadway. And will there be some protection to that? Guardrails or something? Should a car leave the roadway?
Yes, so we are putting curb in, which is it has the high back on its type F curb. So that will aid in keeping people from leaving the roadway. Right now, currently there is nothing, so that'll be improving that should a vehicle try to cross over and go toward it. There will not be a guardrail though.
Pardon me?
There will not be any guardrail added there though.
How close to the road will that be? Because there's equipment that's above grade. If car leaves the roadway, it's going to hit that.
Yeah, and that's what that barrier curb will do for us. It'll keep the vehicles in the lane.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We do have a couple of questions in the chat, so I'll read out. Greg Mackey asked, closing the road on June 3rd. Do they know that school is still in session through June 7th? Why not wait the extra 5 days to not impact the school traffic?
So what we do is we've been in contact with the school system and their transportation group there. We try to limit impact to the school system at the beginning of their school year. We would rather, if we have to have some impact, that it be at the end of the school year. And that's what they prefer as well. So in order to make sure that we do not impact it at the beginning of the following year, we're doing that. It'll be a week or so that we'll be crossing over with them.
Okay, I also see that Allie Sparks has her hand raised, so I will go ahead and ask you to unmute yourself.
Hey, I had one question. I think that you answered it, but I'm not positive. Is the roundabout going to be more like Whittaker and Merritt, or is it going to be more like down on Stony Creek that you can just drive over because nobody pays attention to that roundabout? They just go straight through it.
No, it'll be more like the one we just did right at Bemis and Whittaker. It'll be very similar to that.
Beautiful. And thank you for all of this. I'm excited about, I'm not excited about, construction, whoever is, but
yeah,
I'm excited about being able to go through the intersection without issues. So thanks.
Sure thing.
Okay. And then I also see that there's a question in the chat from Wayne. They said, will the fire hydrant remain in the same location?
Yeah, there is some adjustments being made to those, but more or less they're staying where they are right now.
Great. And then we have another person with their hand raised, Beth K. Beth, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself.
Guys, I had been previously speaking with the other project manager. So welcome, Nate, as our new project manager. I live right on the corner at 9010 Whittaker. And the other project manager told me that I would be getting new culverts. Can you talk a little bit about that? Do you know about that? Is that still happening?
So what quadrant are you in?
I'm at 9010 Whittaker, right on the south quadrant.
Yeah, that would be included in part of the project. I just want to make sure I got the right location.
Yeah, Nate, it's the southwest quadrant.
Yes. Yeah, I think that one will still be, we'll be doing that as part of the project, yes.
Okay. And then Alan, I see you also have your hand raised, so I will go ahead and ask you to unmute yourself. Are you able to unmute yourself, Alan?
There you go.
We're unable to hear you, Alan. If it's easier for you, feel free to send your question into the chat and I can read it aloud for everyone to hear and get answered. Okay, in the meantime, I will read aloud some of the questions that have been sent to me. Carol says, how big is the roundabout? The one at Moon is too small and trucks end up leaving the road.
Yeah, no, this one is very similar to the one right there at Bemis and Whittaker. So we have 110-foot diameter, and they yeah, it'll be very similar to the Bemis Road one, not like the Moon one.
Awesome. Okay, and then Jonathan asked, Rawsonville and Willis is a light. What is the reason that this intersection will not be a light?
So we did a study on that. Aaron, do you want to speak to that one?
Yeah, I'll be happy to, Nate. So again, when we evaluate an intersection for an improvement, we do look at options such as a signal or a roundabout. And we look at things like, first and foremost, safety. We look at potential property impacts. And we look at the best means by which we're able to improve the flow of traffic. And so looking at those items at this intersection, we found that the roundabout was the best option. We had previously had a meeting that discussed more of the design phase considerations. And again, that recording would be available. And so possibly, Emma, that's something we could also share. Again, that meeting was held previously and we delved more into the details of the design. At this point, we're approaching the construction phase, so that's more of our focus here. But again, as far as a signal versus a roundabout, we look at the pros and cons of both options, and really it depends on the intersection, the traffic, and the adjacent properties in our decision making.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Aaron.
Okay. I'll give us a few more seconds to see if there's any questions that are going to come through. I will ask all the hosts in this meeting as well to check their chat messages because sometimes messages can be sent to other hosts. I see that Kathy too sent me a message saying, why didn't you come to a township meeting so that you could present this to the residents in person?
Well, that's what we're doing right here. We find that it has been very useful to do the virtual. That way, people don't have to travel as much, and more people we found have been logging into this. So we've been working with the virtual option, and it seems to have been pretty helpful. But if there's other questions that you need answered, we're happy to help you out with that.
Yeah, and just as a reminder to you, all of the meetings that we have virtually are recorded and they're posted to the project webpage. This allows people to go back and review maybe material that they had questions on or didn't understand fully. And like Nate said, you can always reach out to him and ask him any questions. Beth, I see that you're sending me some direct messages about being in contact with the project manager. Beth, if you wouldn't mind sending me your contact information, like a phone number and your address, so that way we can reach out to you at a later date and we'll figure out how to resolve the issues that you're concerned about. Okay. Is there any more questions that we have relating to the roundabout and the construction of the roundabout? I'll give everyone a few seconds here, see if any more questions come through, and then, okay, Alan, I see you have your hand raised again, and I'll ask you to unmute yourself. We'll see if it's possible this time. We're unable to hear you, Alan. I see that you've unmuted yourself, but something seems to be wrong with your microphone settings.
Maybe
Okay.
just put my contact information back up, and Alan, if you would like to, you can reach out to me directly.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's Nate's contact information if anyone wants to reach out to him. Jonathan sent another question stating, is the roundabout terminal construction step? Can it be changed to a double lane roundabout in the future if it's needed?
Well, that would be a whole nother construction. It is not wide enough the way it's being built right now to be a double lane. So no, I guess the answer is no in that case. Should traffic volumes get to such a point that it's no longer able to handle the volumes, then we would do another study to take a look at what would be the best option. I don't know that it would ever go to a 2-lane roundabout, but you know, that would be in the future. And I believe with the capacity that we'll be, you know, benefiting from at a single lane, that it'll be a while before we need any kind of additional lanes. So.
Okay. Okay. I'll give us a few seconds here to see if anyone else gets any messages in the chat, and then see if anyone else has their hand raised. While we wait for that, I will just show you guys again where to find the previous meeting. So I've got the project webpage open on our website, wcroads.org. So you go to Whittaker and Willis, and over here in the helpful links, these are both of the design meetings, both the slides and the recordings. You guys can go watch them. You can just review the slides, do whatever you need to. And then this recording will also be posted there in the next day or so. Okay. Okay, Kathy too also said, do you have any concerns about how this might impact emergency responders since we have FEW paved roads and they are far away from each other? Or few paved roads, my apologies.
Yes, we will be communicating with all the emergency services so that they're aware of the project. But yes, they will be able to get around. They'll use whatever means they need to, but the closure will, you know, it will be full of construction equipment, so they will not be coming through that area.
Okay. It doesn't seem like we have any more questions. I'm not seeing anything else pop up in the chat. I'm not seeing anyone else raise their hands. So just as a reminder, here's Nate's contact information. If you guys need to reach out or ask any more questions or have concerns about the physical construction and how it relates to your property, definitely take down Nate's information so you can reach out to him at a later date. Thank you so much for attending our virtual construction information meeting about the Whittaker Road at Willis Road Roundabout. It's going to be in Augusta Township. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day.